Oh, there goes the big white pickup truck. So, you know what that means? I'm back on the trail. Am I at section 10? Am I at section 8? No, I'm at neither. I'm at section 8.5. So there's still a bunch of snow up into the mountains, and I wanted to keep hiking. But starting at section 8 seemed like kind of a bad idea. So what I've done is I come to the halfway point of section 8, and I'm gonna hike back to the beginning of section 9, which is what I hiked last time. Well, here's something I haven't done since the very first section in Waterton Canyon, and that's to hike a road. And my road hike is done. We're back on trail, over the mud, and into the woods we go. Now I'm back on the road again. What's up with these roads? Well, right now I'm hiking through Camp Hale, an abandoned military base. This is where, during World War II, soldiers were trained how to fight in an alpine winter environment. Now, in the theme of going as slow as possible, I am only hiking 3 miles today, but I have to hike 3 miles. And why is that? Because there's a threat of unexploded bombs in this area. So I gotta clear this part before I set up my tent. Least I get exploded. Take a moment to look at this place. This is the major reason why I'm finding it okay to adapt to this whole idea of hiking slowly. It just means I have more time to be here. And let me tell you, I only got 9 miles to go in 3 days, so I'm gonna be going super slow, as I mentioned before. But it just means I get more time to be here. Okay, it's break number 1, and as always, it feels absolutely ridiculous. But it's a strategy that's been working out for me. A break every mile, and it keeps you on the trail. Not sure exactly what these old buildings are about, but it's the ruins of the army base that I was talking about before. So if you've ever wondered why there's such great Nepalese food in Boulder, this place is the answer. See, once upon a time, they imported a bunch of immigrants from Nepal to come and teach the pasty white people how to behave in the mountains. And after the base was shut down, those people settled down in Boulder. They started businesses and restaurants and raised their kids and all that other kind of stuff that immigrants do. I'm now leaving the valley floor behind. The rest of the trip will be climbing, although it won't be excessive. We'll stay pretty low. I think 10.5 is about the highest I get. Sure, come out in the wilderness. Drive your machines around. Have some fun. I don't care. Just don't take your damn muffler off before you come up here. Just leave it on. Then nobody will care. You can have fun. They're dirt roads in the middle of nowhere. Just have your fun. Just leave your muffler in place, okay? You twat. Sometimes when you're hiking the trail, you're really, truly in the middle of nowhere. Other times, like now, I've been following this highway for a while. Matter of fact, I came out of that valley in the distance where I was walking roads, and you know, I can appreciate that it's hard to figure out how to route a path of this length through a state and stay in the boonies the whole time, and sometimes it's just not possible. Okay, so I'm laying around here this morning waiting for the world to warm up. Let's take a moment to muse about where the heck does our stuff come from. Now this tent, as you can see here, comes from Big Agnes, and if you could read backwards, that says Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Okay, got it. Steamboat Springs. Now, wait a minute. Let's go over here and, oh yes, of course we have to have the risk management lawyer blather on forever and ever and ever, because in the hierarchy of things these days, the risk management lawyer comes right after shareholders, and then of course customers, you know, down the line. And oh wait, oh, there's what kind of tent it is. Fine. And then we get here, product of Korea. Huh? Wait a minute. Sewn in China? Okay, wait a minute. This is a tent, and as we can see, it's pieces of fabric sewn together. So how does it get to be a product of Korea while being sewn in China? And then what the hell do these people in Steamboat Springs have to do with anything in this case? And another thing that I'm kind of suspicious about is usually a country of origin thing says made in somewhere. And in this case, we completely dodged this issue by using the word product and then sewn. So why do I bring this up? Because the last few tents that I've had have all died in relatively short periods of time. As compared to earlier tents, I remember my North Face West Wind. I had that tent for 25 years before eventually the fly UV'd to death. And to tell the truth, if the tent hadn't been discontinued, I could have bought a new fly and it might have lasted another, I don't know, 5-10 years. And now it's like, man, if you get 5 years out of a tent total, you should count yourself lucky. And I can't help but thinking of just this cluster of a company in Steamboat Springs sending what? Plans that they made on their computer to Korea, and then the Koreans go talking Korea to China's actual workers. And here's the thing, if the Chinese are actually doing the work, what am I paying the Koreans for? Or for that matter, even these people in Steamboat Springs. So you got to be careful about bashing Big Agnes too much, as I sleep on a Big Agnes pad in a Big Agnes sleeping bag. But you know what the hell's going on here? And maybe if just Big Agnes made their own tents and sewed them right there, then maybe they wouldn't have to try and speak Korean, and the Koreans wouldn't have to speak Chinese, and maybe the products would be better. So, actually not to bash this tent, because it's been fine, but it does make me wonder. Okay, well, enough of all that, because even in glacier mode, there comes a point where you have to get out the tent and face that big ripping 2.5 miles that I'm going to have to hike today. So I think it's time to address the obvious here, and that's that I hike alone. There's a couple of really good reasons for that. One is I'm just going ridiculously slow. We're talking walker with the tennis balls on the front kind of slow. And to drag another person along at this pace would probably just be incredibly frustrating. The other thing is that, I need a lot of recovery time. I tend to get sick a lot. So if somebody was trying to hike with me, it's just like, well, when are we going to get back on the trail? Well, I'm sick, so maybe it's 3 weeks. Or, no, I'm fine, maybe it's 4 days. Or, who knows? So in this case, it's just a lot simpler to hike by myself. Okay, today's weather report. It is before noon, before the maximum heat of the day where the clouds build quickly. And there's already significant development in the sky, and the bottoms of these clouds are already getting dark. And so this is where glacier mode really pays off, because if it looks like it's going to start raining, I'm just going to set up my tent. All right, here's Highway 24, the highway that I've been paralleling since I left the military base down at Camp Hale. Let's see if I can get across without getting hit. Oh yeah, we made it. All right. Where the heck does the trail go over here? Oh, I see trail markers. Yeah, there we go. On my last video, when I was hiking section 9, I was talking about how, before I even got on the trail, my left foot was giving me grief. I told you that I dropped my motorcycle on it, tried to tear it off with my snowboard, and my little brother reminded me that that's also the foot that I tried to take off with a chainsaw. So maybe the thing giving me the big middle finger is kind of deserved. Now, as I hiked the trail last time, things got better. It was really painful and bad on the first day, and then it got better. On this section, it's achy, and it continues to be achy. Now, I come to realize that I've had a complete change of strategy than I had when I was in, say, even my 40s or my 50s, where something like this would happen and I'd go like, oh my, I gotta get off this thing. I gotta give it a break. I gotta let it rest up. But two things have changed. Back then, I was well aware that there was decades of physical activity that I wanted to protect. And there was another thing is, I was still young enough to think that, hey, things will get better. But now that I'm in my mid-60s, I'm well aware that any season could be my last season. That thing could happen where you could go like, oh, yeah, okay, I can't do that anymore. And so, this is going to be my last season because whatever's wrong with my foot gets even worse. Then, well, let's hike as far as we can. Because let's face up to reality. You give everything up eventually. And that includes life. So if I can get on the trail now, there's no point saving up for later, because later might not be mine anymore. Now think of the last kind of grim little scenario that I gave you. I was thinking about denial rebellion and giving up. I'm not a fan of denial. The reason I've been able to hike the trail as much as I have is that I haven't gone into denial. If I'd have gotten on this thing, put on my pack and gone, I'm going to hike 20 miles every day, I would have been a wreck in the first section, and that would have been it for me. Rebellion, I don't know if I'm using the term correctly, is looking at your situation and say, yes, no, I'm not that young guy who's going to hike 20 miles a day, but maybe I can be an old guy walking 5 miles a day, and then I'm still out here. And, so far this year, I haven't gone over 4 miles. I mean, it's even worse. But that's not denial. That's accepting limitations and saying, well, how far can I rebel against the inevitable so that I'm still out here on the trail? And that's a big difference from just giving up and saying like if I'd gone like, I can't do 20 miles anymore, I'll have nothing of it. I'd rather be out here at glacier mode than to have absolutely nothing. And I got to keep telling myself that, because at times it gets frustrated, especially when you think of your former self and what I'd be able to do, a decade or two ago. Back on the trail again at the crack of 9:15. Holy crap, am I starting out early? Well, that will just mean that I'll have to utilize my skills of glacier mode so I don't get to the end of the trail too soon today. Now, I've been thinking about this whole glacier mode thing. And here's the part that's really working. I'm really enjoying the whole mentality of just going slow. Because you just sit there and enjoy yourself and take breaks and sit in beautiful places and look at the scenery. I mean, it's all great. Now, let's get to the downside. If I get done with my allotted mileage at 3 o'clock, like I did yesterday, and my natural circadian rhythm means that I'm really not going to fall asleep until 11. That's like 8 hours of ho-de-do-de-do-de-do-de-do. Well, I've been hiking on a road, an old abandoned road, for the last mile or so. And you always wonder, who made these roads? What were they for? Why did it get abandoned? And here's the explanation. Right over here. This is an old coke mine, or coke oven, sorry. So did they cook cocaine here? No. Soda pop? Still no. No, this is what's coke? I don't know. You can Google it. Some sort of mineral. But obviously this piece of infrastructure had to get serviced, and hence the road. And hence the road being closed, because obviously these old ovens are now in ruins. This here is the symbol for the Colorado Trail. This symbol is for the Continental Divide Trail. For about 200 miles, I'm guessing, these two trails are one and the same. And the vast majority of people that I've met while hiking are doing the Continental Divide Trail. That means they've already hiked all the way from the Mexican border and are planning to go all the way to the Canadian border. Two guys I just met a minute ago were saying, because they had met chest-deep snow in the San Juans, that they were now delayed and would have to hike 24 miles a day, averaging 24 miles a day to make it to Montana and the mountains there before the snow flew. Now the person I was 3 years ago thought they could do a trail like that. The person I was last year was incredibly frustrated to find out that that isn't the case. The person I am today, I don't know. I'm kind of relieved just to do glacier mode, make plenty of stops, and not to be in a rush as I go through the woods. Oh, look at that. I see the parking lot in the distance here. Even glacier mode wasn't slow enough. So now the deal is, let's find the big white pickup truck. Is it out there? Or am I waiting? Let's see. It's the big white pickup truck. Okay, that's the end of section 8.5, I guess I'm gonna call it. And I'm back to where I started on the last video. So maybe I'm going so slow at this point that I'm actually going backwards.